Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I am returning the Oculus Quest 3S. And this is coming from somebody who has wanted a VR headset for a while now. Ever since I played a VR game and downloaded it a few years back, I've just wanted one since then in the back of my brain because it's just a really cool experience. It's very immersive and a lot different from a keyboard and mouse, but in a good way. It's just a really cool experience. But I am returning this specific headset. And why is that? Well, because the lenses, I just can't get used to them. I really just don't like the lenses on these because they are, I think, the same lenses that were used on the Quest 2. And a lot of people could deal with them perfectly fine. And I have nothing wrong with the people that like this headset or like the Quest 2 and are fine with the lenses and can get used to them. But for me personally, especially somebody that is new to VR, it is very hard to get used to them because you have to look at a very particular sweet spot and it is very small on these lenses in order to get them to look good. If you try to look at anything in your peripheral vision, it will just distort and just blur beyond belief. You can barely see like anything outside of your peripheral vision. It is not a very good experience when it comes to that. And in order to look at anything like super specific, you have to turn your entire head because you have to keep your eyes aligned with that specific sweet spot. And again, I know a lot of people are okay with this and can get used to it. And VR headsets do cost a lot of money, and I do get that. And the Quest 3, the regular Quest 3, costs like a lot more than 3S. So I have no problem with people that are okay with this headset and can deal with the issues or the compromises that this headset has. But for me, I just can't because that's just not how human eyesight works. I know that peripheral vision can get a little bit blurry compared to like when you're actually honing in on stuff, but it's just really blurry on the lenses on these. To the point where, again, you have to turn your entire head in order to look at something specific. And at that point, I just look like kind of a fucking doofus. And it's not only that, but just generally, just the slight improvements that are also on the Meta, or not the Meta, I don't like calling them Meta because I fucking hate Facebook. I'll be honest, I really don't like the fact that I even have to buy a VR headset from Facebook or Meta in the first place because I really hate them as a company. But the problem is there's not really a ton of other better headsets out there below $1,000. And that is why I'm actually just going to get the regular Quest 3 instead, because not only does it have pancake lenses, which are much better at getting rid of not only like light rays and stuff like that are on these lenses, but also just increasing your field of view while getting rid of like that distortion and blurriness in your peripheral vision for the most part. It's still kind of there, but it's a lot better on the pancake lenses from what I've heard from basically everybody. Nobody has said it's like a worse experience compared to these, I don't think, like ever. So yeah, that is the main reason why I'm just going to be going for the Quest 3 and upgrading that, or not upgrading, but just going for that instead of these and returning these. But also just the small quality of life improvements on the Quest 3 as well, like the headphone jack, which I really do appreciate. And it makes me regret not going for that first before getting these and having to walk like a mile in order to return these because I live in college right now and I don't have a car. So yeah, I will have to walk pretty far in order to get to a store to return these, which kind of sucks, but you know, these are expensive, so I'm willing to do it. And again, I don't really like the lenses on these, and also just the fact that it's missing a headphone jack, because you guys already know how much I like audio and IEMs, and I just prefer I would prefer to just have at least an option to plug in something when I don't want, you know, audio to bleed or anything like that, or I'm just not feeling in the mood for speakers. But yeah, again, I can understand why a lot of people would be happy with the 2 or the 3S or the 3, but again, just personally for me, I just don't like the lenses on these. And that is, again, the main reason why I'm returning it, along with the fact that it has no headphone jack. And that's mainly it, honestly. And also, I like the increased resolution is like nice. Like a lot of people say it is like pretty noticeable. But again, it's just due to the fact that peripheral vision is just not amazing on these, on this headset, and probably the Quest 2 as well. When it comes to that, I do understand that the battery life is not great on like both of them. From what I understand, it's like around 2 hours of battery life, which is not great, and I realize that, but I don't want to spend more than $1,000 on a VR headset, man, because I don't plan to be playing a ton of VR games to begin with. And you might be saying, oh, why not just settle for the 3S then? You already have it. Well, because again, I just don't like the lenses. I really just can't get used to them because anything where you have to be super immersed in it and you want to like feel like you're actually there. Like I have Subnautica and I plan to play that with VR. And that is a very immersive game, like a very immersive underwater game. And I want to feel like I'm actually there because that's kind of the point of VR. It's kind of an escapism thing. So I want to feel like I'm there. The problem is with this, you don't really feel like that. You feel like you're putting on something like an accessory on your head because that's what you're doing. But again, with like the Quest 3 and like other VR headsets that use like more like pancake lenses, you feel like you're more there. Like not like fully there, but still more there, if that makes sense. To the point where, again, I'm just willing to spend the extra money and just get that instead and return these. Because again, I understand that it's like not like the biggest upgrade imaginable, but it kind of is, to be honest, in terms of what I feel is like valuable in terms of like an upgrade over this headset. Because again, just the pancake lenses are huge in terms of just reducing that distortion and fogginess around like around your peripheral vision and just looking at things in general. And I just vastly prefer that. Like that is the first thing I noticed when I put this headset on, was just how distorted everything was if I didn't put the VR headset in the exact right spot and didn't look in the exact right spot. Everything just looks like really distorted and blurry, which again, I'm not a big fan of for like a millionth time, which is why I'm returning them. But yeah, I know a lot of people won't like this video because a lot of people are fine with the headset. And again, I have no problem if you like this headset. But for me personally, I just can't deal with the way that these look. So that is the main reason why I'm returning them. But yeah, that is basically going to be it. And I will see you guys later. Goodbye.